I gotta be honest, I wasn't totally sold on the premise of the new Apple TV Plus original series Loot because it follows a ridiculously rich person as they try to find themselves. I mean, like, where's the real challenge in that? If you have a crap ton of money and you don't need to work, ever, then how difficult will this journey actually be? Well, let's jump in. Billionaire Molly Novak has a dream life, complete with private jets, a sprawling mansion, and a gigayacht. Everything her heart desires. But when her husband of 20 years betrays her, she spirals publicly, becoming fuel for tabloid fodder. As she reaches rock bottom, Molly embarks on a journey of self-discovery and begins to learn that giving back to others might be what she needs to get back to herself. So this is a weekly release with the first 2 episodes dropping together and then 1 per week after that. Now there are 10 episodes for season 1, so that gives you an idea of how long this is going to play out. Now the one thing that may be the biggest hurdle though is that the episodes are only roughly 30 minutes each. This stars Maya Rudolph as Molly, the rich woman who's trying to figure her life out after she finds out that her husband has betrayed her. Now I love Rudolph. She's witty, sarcastic, but also has a great grasp on emotional drama. I mean, she can say something snarky in one moment and then in the very next breath deliver a touching monologue. She's also supported by a handful of main characters and then a few minor ones as well. Now, the others in the main cast are Joel Kim Booster, Michaela Jae Rodriguez, Nat Faxon, and Ron Funches. The combo that these 5 bring can be hilarious, but also biting at points, which sometimes isn't unfunny either. Now, this is a single camera comedy that finds our characters getting into all kinds of different scenarios while an overarching storyline plays out. Now, if you've seen any of my reviews, you know that I'm kind of conflicted when it comes to weekly releases versus a season being released all at once. Now, I do love binge watching, especially with my watching cadence, but some shows I think are better served as a once per week event. This show, though, isn't one of them. It took until about episode 4 for me to become engaged with the characters and then have them really click with me. And that's with my ability to see them all back to back to back. I mean, if I was watching this as it released, it'd be week 3 that I finally was connecting with the show, which I think is a pretty big ask for an audience. And it's not like the first few episodes are bad, because they're not. I mean, I just wasn't clicking with the characters, the story, or maybe even the comedy. But right around episode 4, the show finds its stride and then becomes a very funny and engaging show. I'm still not sure each episode has enough to sustain a weekly release, but if you put the entire thing together, it's a blast to watch. And that's mostly thanks to the actors and the characters that they've crafted. I mean, yeah, the story begins to work also, but the actors are really what sell this. Maya Rudolph, as I've already said, is hilarious, but with a good sense of humanity. I mean, she's flawed, completely out of touch with how things function for anybody who's not stupid rich, but she's also got the desire to change, which leads to a lot of funny and awkward situations that we cringe at, but also want to root for her to work through them. Joel Kim Booster plays her personal assistant and friend. Now, he's extremely snarky, and while I didn't like him in every single scene, he has got an incredible character growth arc that becomes very endearing. He starts off as a character I pretty much couldn't stand, and then turns into one that I wanted to see succeed. Michaela Jae Rodriguez plays the head of Rudolph's charity foundation, and I loved her character arc as well. We get to see growth as she goes from this driven and get it all done at any cost kind of a person to one that connects with her team and then gains genuine friendships. It's awesome to watch, especially because she's kind of like Felix Unger to Rudolph's Oscar Madison. I mean, their chemistry is wonderful to experience. Nat Faxon shines as this nerdy accountant at the foundation. He's shy, quiet, a bit awkward, but he's incredibly charming. He's very unassuming, but also really funny too. Now, side note, Rudolph and Faxon are in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Way, Way Back, which also stars Toni Collette, Steve Carell, Allison Janney, and then the guy who's like bacon because he just makes everything better, Sam Rockwell. Now, if you haven't seen The Way, Way Back, make it a priority to see it. Okay, tangent over. Faxon has a great dynamic with Rudolph, where there's tension and awkwardness, but all of it is sweet and hopeful. And then finally, we've got Ron Funches. And this dude, he just may be my favorite character in the bunch. Funches is so kind-hearted and gentle, and then his dialogue delivery just made me laugh out loud so many times. His cadence and his tone give him this innocence, which makes the words punch even more, and punch in a funny way, not in a mean way. Now, the overarching story is engaging, and it became one that sucked me in, but the characters are what really sold this and then made it a hit for me. I mean, each of them have a growth journey that's so good to watch. They're not perfect, and their growth isn't always in a forward trajectory, but the effort makes them all characters that I want to root for and then want to continue watching episode after episode. Now, because the episodes are so relatively short, the pace is pretty quick, but it's not moving so fast that the stories get jumbled or that you even feel cheated within the story. I mean, each of them has an arc to make them enjoyable to watch, but I would really be hard-pressed to want to watch just one short episode per week without some compelling reason to draw me back each time. Overall, Loot is a funny, character-driven comedy with actors that create personas that will resonate in one way or another with you. They display wonderful growth over the course of the series, with each journey being unique to the individuals that they are. The overarching storyline is engaging and worth following, while the individual episodes contain a lot of laughs and some poignant character moments that feel impactful. The biggest bummer of this series is that it's a weekly release, and it took the first several episodes to find its footing. This show is definitely worth the watch, but you may want to wait to binge it all at once rather than opt for watching it week to week. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and not really any violence. I give season 1 of Loot 4 out of 5 couches. So what would you do if you had billions and billions and billions of dollars? Would you spend it on yourself or others? Maybe a little of both? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.